Hello, welcome to this live stream with me, Samantha, from the Many Parts YouTube channel. This is exciting. So here we are, the 1st of September and the first day of the 7-day writing prompt journey. So I did a live stream yesterday. Thank you to those who joined. And thank you to those who watched it on the replay as well. My intention is to go live every day at 6:30 p.m. British Summer Time, which is located, for half an hour. And in this half an hour, it's a space where we can come together and do some writing. I will offer a guideline, but of course you take this 30 minutes for yourself and whatever you'd like to do. So again, thank you very much to everyone who joined and who is joining now. I'm a bit new to, just to let you know, so I wasn't able to see the chat replay yesterday, but I really appreciate you chatting, and I know there's lots of lovely people who subscribe to this channel who leave lovely comments, and you all will be very kind and respectful to each other. I think, as I said yesterday, writing can be a solitary act at times, and it's nice to come together and do something like this. And my idea was to do this writing from the 1st of September up to 7th of September, and each day it'd just be an opportunity for us to come and create with absolutely no expectation. And I'll just give you a quick background about myself and how I came to this, if you haven't heard of my story before. So I was very loved writing and creating stories since pretty much I came out of the womb. And as my mother tells me, as soon as I could speak, I was wanting to tell bedtime stories back to her. And I would write a lot as a child. As I got a little bit older, I struggled to do that. I kind of found that as soon as I shared my work with people, then I hid away, and then I stopped writing. And then I knew it was something that I really wanted to connect to again. I felt like there were experiences I had and opinions I had and things I wanted to share, and sometimes I found it easier to share it through an art form. And so what I did was, I did have some background in writing. So I went to university and I did English literature because I love stories, as I said. And it was very much, I was reading other people's stories. And that was so helpful to learn story structure and learn how they work, and also use it as a reflect on myself and my own life. And then I found, though, that I was so shy when it came to wanting to write myself. There was a creative writing module and I chose not to do it just because I was so fearful of doing it. And kind of like years went on. Occasionally it kind of came in different ways through devising. I also have an acting background. And then I decided to enroll in a master's and do writing. Now it was mainly analytical, but there was a creative module. Almost again didn't do it. At last minute I enrolled in it, and I was like, oh wow, okay, I can do some writing and there's some structure here. Now, alongside this university degree, the university had funded this called Morag Yos to come and teach, and it was free, it was open to the community. And I, again, very nervous, went along and joined this class. Now, Morag, what she did was she started every class with a writing prompt exercise. So this was kind of like the first thing that I experienced. She got to just sit there, listen to 3 writing prompts, and then we got to choose one, whichever one was, most significant to us. And then she put on a timer for 4 minutes, and then she just got us to write for 4 minutes non-stop. And her advice was, do not judge it, do not edit it. If at any point you feel like you are going to stop and you can't write anymore, just put I am writing, I am writing, I am writing, until you pick up the flow again. It's about being good, or creating a piece of Nobel Prize literature in that 4 minutes. It's just about getting whatever is in you out onto the page. And then at the end, we read over it again. And then once we've read over it, then we can see if there's anything that piques our interest that maybe we'll put aside and work on at a later date, revisit. Often I might do the exercise and then the next day I'll just be walking along, or you know, that typical thing that people talk about with creativity is you'll be taking a shower, doing something where that part of your brain isn't working in that way, you know, consciously to create, and then it just opens it up and then you suddenly have an idea and then you have that opportunity to write down. Now, I'm interested to see what happens within these next 7 days. It's a good time to just see what it is that we'd like to get out of these 7 days. Now, I'll just let you know, as I let people know yesterday, that I've made a 7-day creative writing prompt journey on Skillshare. On there, there's 2 prompts you can choose from each day. And I also have lots of information about writing with prompts, how to get the best out of the journey. And what I invite you to do at the beginning of the journey is just to center in and see what it is that you would like to get out of this journey. Whether you've written before or you've never written before, you want to give it a go, or you're someone who really does have a writing practice, but you just want to use this space to get back in the flow again. And I also wanted to say thank you very much. A couple of people joined the Skillshare class yesterday. So thanks for doing that. You can use it as a resource. Today, I'm going to share the first 2 prompts that I've put on that Skillshare class. And then for the rest of the week, I invite you to just bring your own material. You might want to use that or bring your own prompts. I think doing a 4-minute exercise is a really good way to start as a warm-up. It's also a really good way just to have 4 minutes, 5 minutes of creativity in your day. So with this, whether you just want to start and do the prompt journey with me right now, I'm going to start doing it in a few minutes. We'll write together for 4 minutes and then we'll stop, and then, you know, go over it. I will guide this, but of course this is your space, do whatever you want to do it. We'll write for 4 minutes, and then maybe you have a project that you're working on, or maybe you feel like you want to carry on writing whatever you discovered in that moment. So you could do that as well. Just use, you know, the time for yourself, or maybe you just want to leave and go on and do whatever you want to do next. It's all good. So each day I'll go through and just let you know about a kind of theme that helps with these writing exercises. I also, yesterday, I wanted to see what's going on because energetically, it's quite heightened at the moment. I am a woo-woo person. I will let you know that. I definitely wasn't when I first started writing. I mean, again, I feel like I definitely was as a child, moved away from it. And then something I discovered through the writing was I reconnected with myself. And I wonder with yourself, like if you already have a writing practice, a journaling practice, creative writing practice, or not at all, what, you know, what insights, what has kind of transpired in your life. It's interesting to reflect on these things and helpful. And so for me, as I said, I was going down that academic route, and it was analytical. I was doing a lot of research, and I was very interested in poetry. I had different interests. I'm very interested in comedy, and I write character comedy, and for which a lot of my shorts recently have been these characters, and that's definitely thanks to working with writing prompts. That definitely opened me up to start creating with character. And then I will say that going through and working in that creative way, then I got more into like a journaling practice as well, and that helped just generally with reflecting and helping me reflect on life and being able to see what was going on. So let's just take a minute. As I said yesterday, I pulled a card from the Angels and Ancestors deck by Kyle Gray, and with some guidance. And what came up yesterday was the hermit, retreat and recharge. And that got me reflecting a lot on how with the writing, it can help us go into an insightful place, help us reflect, help us to recharge, because we're giving to ourselves when we give ourselves this creative time. We also give ourselves time to see what's going on inside. It also made me realize about how important it is that when I'm creating, and I'd love to open this up as a discussion for other people, to do it in a very nurturing and gentle way. That's why I really love working with doing 4 minutes of writing and just going to my... That's what I'm going to do today. And I might carry on. I'll see how I feel. And I might not. And not put any pressure on it. There is something to be said, and I do go through phases like this at times where I go, actually, I just don't want to create a tool right now. I just know, like, I just don't want to do that. I've got other things to do, or I've, I just really need time just to not do that. But I think the whole approach to this 7-day writing would be to do it without any pressure and just go, I'm going to write for 4 minutes, see what happens, and release any, as I said at the beginning, any expectation or any ideas of perfectionism coming in. That's something I definitely struggled with. So I really invite you to just this with curiosity. And then today, just before we start the writing, which I'd love to start in a minute, I pulled this lady, enjoy growth and reap rewards. And I feel like being helps us do that. It helps us to grow. It helps us to, we'll see what rewards will come from it at the end of the 7 days or at the end of today. As I said before, just before we start writing today, I'd love you just to take a moment, take a couple of deep breaths. Center yourself and just ask yourself, what is it that I would like to out of this 7-day writing prompt journey? For me, I think I am going with this idea of creating in a very nourishing way, just putting aside 30 minutes where I can create. And also for me specifically, I have this intention to share this because when I initially started and learnt this in that class, it opened a lot for me, and I'm very grateful for that. And I'm very happy to be sharing this right now. So if you're ready to do so, I'd love you just to take a piece of paper and a pen, or you might choose to just put your phone on your camera on your phone, or you might choose to use a voice note and just speak rather than write, or you might want to type. And I'm going to give you a couple of prompts. Then I'll ask you just to choose one, whichever one you feel most connected to. There's always a reason why we go for one, and I think that our first instinct is usually the one to follow. And these are the 2 prompts, so choose one or the other. You can jot them both down and then choose one. So number 1 is write about a person who, after many years of trying, finally achieves their New Year's resolution. So number 1 is write about a person who, after many years of trying, finally achieves their New Year's resolution. And then number 2 is an unexpected visitor appears at the front door. Who are they? So number 2 is an unexpected visitor appears at the front door. Who are they? Okay, so once you've got your prompt, Now I'm going to set a 4-minute timer, and then I invite you just to write for 4 minutes without pausing. If at any point you feel like pausing, you're like, I'm not sure what to go with next, just write, I am writing, I am writing, I am writing. We'll keep going. I'm going to set this 4-minute timer in a minute. Let's go for that. Oh, here we go. 4 minutes, and I'll tell you. You've got about 1 minute left. Okay, that's 4 minutes. Been joining me with the writing. We were just doing a writing prompt exercise, which you can watch on the replay if you'd like, or of course it's in the Skillshare class. So with this writing prompt exercise, we've chosen one prompt that we were connected to, and now it's an opportunity, after doing our 4 minutes of writing without pausing and just letting everything go, we're now going to read it back and just see what came up with curiosity, not judging it, not thinking that we need to edit anything. If there is anything that we're interested in and go, oh, that piqued my interest, just give it a circle or highlight it, whatever you like to do. Maybe write it down on another piece of paper, have a file on your computer, and then you could put it into a file on the computer or in a folder, whatever you'd like to do. So this is a way just to go get everything out on the page. Now, is there anything? And you know what? If there isn't anything, just let it go with love and go, well, at least I got stuff out. I just have done it. It's a bit like exercise, isn't it? You know, like sometimes you don't really want to do it and then we just do a little bit, it starts to feel good. So now just take curiosity, just take a couple of minutes and we'll just read over what you've written, if there's anything interesting, whether it's something we might work on creatively or maybe it just gave you an insight to something with you today. Let's take a look at that. Okay, brilliant. So now we've taken a look at writing, getting it down on a piece of paper in 4 minutes. Just see how that felt, just getting that out in 4 minutes. See, okay, I've done something. And then did anything come up for you or not come up for you, or just give you an insight into this moment with how maybe you're feeling or something that happened in the day. Now with this, I do want to make a note because it is really important to me about in terms of when we're writing and well-being and looking after your well-being, that if anything does that feels uncomfortable, then please do take responsibility for that and do what you need to do. So sometimes, you know, we can go off into these imaginary worlds or we might have memories from the past. It's really important then to center ourselves and come back to the present moment. And I'll just give you a few ideas of how we could do that. So we could ask ourselves the question, where am I? The answer is here. I'm here. You might want to take a few breaths. Or name things in the room, naming what you can see. I can see a water bottle, I can see my camera, I can see the laptop. And then that brings us back into the present moment. And that's whether we've had something uncomfortable come up or not. It just helps us center back into this reality here, okay, which I think is important to do when we're writing. Now, saying that just as a, you know, as a general broad sweeping statement, it's important to mention. And of course, again, if anything really uncomfortable comes up when you're writing, as you know, it's important to get the help that you need if anything uncomfortable does come up, you know, speaking to a trusted person or organization. I'm saying that because when I first started writing, and you know, you may be someone that already has a writing practice, but I'm just saying, and I know this might not happen for you at all, we're all individual. For me personally, it was so freeing to write, and it was so helpful, and I loved it, and then I also create it as well as all the personal benefits, but it definitely brought up stuff for me to the point where I was like, oh, there's stuff going on here, and I really could do with getting some help with that stuff and not just be working it creatively, but going and getting help. In my case, I ended up going working with therapists, and it very much helped me. And also, you know, like sometimes I would share with her the types of things I was writing, and that was really beneficial. So I'm not trying to turn this into a session right now, but it's just something that I do want to note because I think it's important. And I know from my own experience that's happened. Now, we have 5 minutes left, so Completely up to you what you do now. You may want to carry on writing with what you were writing on before, or you might have a project that you were working on. As I said, my intention to do this every day from today until Sunday, the 7th of September, where we just have 30 minutes where we write together. I wanted to go into a little bit more of explanation today about working with prompts. I have a video on my channel which goes into writing with prompts, if it's something you haven't done before or it's something that you'd, like to hear. I guess with everything, isn't it? Like, we may have done something before. It's helpful to just keep open if you want to. This is not school. But hi. So yeah, time now though, like to do whatever you want to do. And from tomorrow onwards, the idea is to, at the start of the session, I will chat for a little bit, and then I think at about 10 past, 5 past, or actually no, sorry, I'm on the other side of the clock. At about, so I start at 6:30 my time, British Standard Time. So like at 6:35, 6:40, go into a 4-minute writing practice together if you want to do it. I personally find it's a helpful warm up. From there, go off and live your life after there if you want to, or carry on writing with writing with the prompt, or take the time to work on a particular project that you're working on, whether that's a creative project, personal project, needing to write an email for that day. I could do without doing that right now. This stuff helps, doesn't it, with creative writing and also writing like emails. And also generally I found opening up as well, to people. And I found that the more that I practiced doing this, then I was practicing doing it. So then I find that it helps me that when I'm with other people, I'm used to knowing what's going on with me, so that I'm more used to sharing that with people. And then it's definitely helped cultivate and deepen my relationships with others. And that's something else that I love about doing this practice is, the insights, the self-awareness it leads to, and just generally helping in life. Because as I said, I had really shut down, and I don't just mean creatively, and I don't just mean in my writing. I mean, I had shut down, if I was in a group setting, especially. I mean, I am a little bit more just generally naturally introverted, INFP, so I like to share on this channel. But I also love people, I love coming to people. And actually the prompts that I shared today, which you may well have noticed, both of them started with people and character. And we can start writing from lots of different places. We can start with character or a situation, but I really do love stories that, are character driven. And so that's why I thought today it'd be lovely to start with characters, like either story that you went with. Just interesting to know who's the character and do you relate to them, or some might pop up somewhere else. All these exciting things that we can look at in this world. Okay, thank you so much for joining me, everyone who's joined the live chat. Again, I'm going to stream from a computer tomorrow, so it's going to be easier for me to look at what's going on. But yeah, thank you very much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or evening. You're going to do next, whether you carry on writing or doing something else creative or going and doing something completely different. Me personally, I'm going to go and make my dinner and eat. Thank you very much for joining again, and I'll see you tomorrow.